Hey, what's going on everybody? Alex with you here as usual. Thank you for dropping by for yet another chess video. Seems like it's been forever, even though when I look back it's only been like a week since I made my previous video. But in today's video we're going to be taking a look at this Ambassador chess set that a lot of you guys are probably familiar with. In fact, if you go to Amazon and just type in the word chess, you'll probably find this within the first 10. This Ambassador chess set made in Poland. So unlike a lot of the other chess sets that are manufactured in India, this is made in Poland. It says here made in EU. And yeah, really cool little inexpensive chess set. I think this one probably set me back about 60 something dollars. I'll show you guys a link. Now, one thing that I want you guys to pay attention to is that this particular one was, I think, one of the largest ones, but they do have smaller sizes. Now, pay attention to the fact that if you type in for the smaller sizes, because they'll have the selection, the arrangement and the way the pieces are like detailed are going to be a little bit different than it is on this one. So that's something that I wish I could have all the different sizes to show you guys the differences. But I have this one because I figured a lot of people out there might be interested in seeing this chess set. So we're going to go ahead and dive in, take a look at what this chess set is all about, and kind of show you guys, and also give you my opinion about like who do I think this chess set might be for. Some of you guys, in fact, that have recommended me purchasing this chess set and doing a review of this particular chess set numerous times, and so I decided, hey, why not? It's not that expensive. It's not like it's $600, and might as well pick one up. Anyways, let's go ahead and take a look. So basically, the box comes in about the same size as the actual chess set. So this box came in a bigger box. But as far as the packaging here, as you will see in just a second, there's really not much room for anything else. A lot of the chess sets that we see, they'll have a lot of additional packaging and additional foam and stuff around the box. Not in this case. And I don't even think it has an instruction manual or anything, but it just pretty much snugly fits inside there, and you get, that's it. There's nothing really more in the box. And then you get this really quite nice and really sort of a well-made chess set that I will bring my camera here shortly and kind of show you guys what this is all about. But it has a nice sort of a handmade feel. Okay, you will see the details here, and you will see how it's been made, and you will kind of get an idea about what I'm talking about when I say handmade. This is actually a chess set that when I sent my friend Dennis the Cambridge Springs chess set back like 2 years ago, he actually told me that the chess set that he has and that he plays on normally is this one. And at the time when I looked at it, I was like, well, what is this? What is this? I just didn't feel like it was a serious chess set because it wasn't Staunton, it wasn't House of Staunton. And so but then as I kind of look more and more at this particular chess set, I realized that there's a certain quality to this particular chess set that I feel like may appeal to quite a few people, not only kids, but people that want that handmade feel, as we will see in just a minute. Okay, so let me just go ahead and bring the camera closer and show this to you guys. Also, I'm probably going to turn the extra light here because I know that it's sunset and the light's kind of running away from us. So here we are. I'm just gonna kind of free hold my camera here to show you guys some of the details right over here. In the front of the chess set, you have these nice, I guess, brass, or I'm not sure what type of metal it is. I'm assuming it's some kind of a brass metal probably, or that sort of unhinged this way. There is no lock that you can put on these. It just sort of unclips like this. And so does this one. And then you open it up like this. And when you open it up, there's no stopper, so it goes all the way back. And then you have your chess pieces. You get a total of 32 chess pieces, so you only have 2 queens instead of 4. But because, I mean, they probably could have made this chess set to where they had 4 queens. But then, as you can see here, and I'm showing you guys the full extent of this box, you can kind of tell that as far as the space, there's only so much space in this box, and they really had probably limited amount of space to deal with. So the question during the fabrication of this chess set might have been, hey, do we make the pieces extra small and then manage to put 4 queens in there, or do we make them a little bit bigger like this so that they're a little bit more ergonomic and more easily playable, but only have 2 queens? Well, I guess they decided with the latter. So the type of, as you could see here, my camera is probably going to be focusing like kind of, this material here is sort of almost like this cardboard with this felt on top. It's this, it's not super, like you could take probably maybe a knife or something and poke, and you'll have a hole inside of this. Not that anybody would want to do that, but it's not like there's nothing underneath of this. So as you can see, I'm putting my finger and it sort of does, you see that? There's just space underneath here. And in fact, if we take this and we can just sort of open it up, see, it's plastic on this side, and then it's felt, kind of felted plastic on this side. But that's about it. So underneath there, it's just you have your you just have your box underneath there, as you guys can see. As far as the compartments go, they're not designed to be super durable, but at the same time, you're not going to be throwing your pieces in there. They're not going to be meant to, I mean, you're only just basically taking pieces out of there like this and then putting them back in. I don't think it's really that necessary for you to have some kind of super high quality felt or some kind of a non like a solid type of a felt or something. I think this is doable. When you flip the board over, as you guys can see right over here, and you set up all the pieces, this is approximately what this particular chess set all setup looks like. Now, like I said before, I believe this might be like a 2.25 inch square board, so it's almost like a full tournament size. I wanted to get the bigger one because I really was looking for more of a like a at-home playable chess set as opposed to purchasing a travel chess set, because if I'm going to purchase a travel chess set, then I'm probably going to end up getting a smaller one. Whereas if I want something at home, I'm usually, kind of swaying more towards, if I have the opportunity or the choice, I will probably get something a little bit bigger, unless it's a lot more expensive. But one of the things I want to point out is just as I'm kind of walking around this board here, maybe it's just me where I'm looking at it in my room here, but I'm trying to do my best to be able to capture this on the camera. But I kind of get a feel that like it almost has this sort of like a fairy tale like feel to it, almost like a Harry Potter type of feel. Maybe it's because of the fact that you have all these extra arrangements around the notation that you can see here, or if you actually zoom in a little bit closer, you can actually tell like the detail of how the individual lettering almost looks like it's been carved out by hand, as you guys can see right over here. It's probably not by hand, but it could very well be made by hand by some kind of an instrument that basically burned those letters out, because it does look like that the letters have been burned out, maybe with some kind of a burning instrument. But these little arrangements here, they're not just arrangements. There's actually it's actually a sort of a divot. It's not just sort of superficial. In fact, in between every single square too, like there is a space. There's almost like a micro trench that goes in between every square, and in that trench, as we can see a little bit closer here, you see these little cuts and stuff that are present. It's all these little tiny minute details that kind of make this chess set sort of very interesting. Not only each square and all the sides here have these little details and carvings and everything, but also, as you guys can see here, and as we will see shortly, each one of the individual pieces also has additional carving and little, it almost kind of like a burnt, the burnt Dubrovnik chess set that I had also had quite a lot of detail here. But in this particular case, as compared to the burnt Dubrovnik that I showed you guys before, this chess set is it's a little bit more subtle. All the little carvings and all the little burnt marks are a little bit more subtle, so that kind of makes it blend in with the board a little bit better. But what I want to do is I want to go ahead and start by showing you guys the individual pieces and kind of talking about how the pieces differ from some of the other pieces that we have seen before.
and then kind of come back and show you guys and sort of conclude the video by telling you guys what I think about this chess set.
Do certainly hope that this is going to be in focus, but starting off with the kings right over here. The kings have this really quite interesting design in the fact that one of the very first things that I want to mention to you guys about this chess set is that it's actually kind of light. It's I don't necessarily think they have weights inside of them, but this is one of the lightest chess sets as far as the like comparing it to a size that it is, because these are pretty big pieces overall, but they're really light. They're really light, and yet they're stable enough to be able to play a good game because the bases are still wide enough. But they are a little bit too light. I probably would have preferred them to be just a little bit heavier. But as you guys can see right over here, the top finial is quite large, and then they use an opposing color of a finial, and then it looks like the finial is probably glued into the top. But the top is here is kind of phenomenal in the fact that there's space inside. I guess I could try to show it to you, but this is probably the best I could show to you. But there's like the space inside, and then if you look through, you can kind of see my shirt back there. Well, I guess it's a design element here. It's pretty cool. It's unlike a lot of the other chess sets that we've seen. Both light and dark kings are the same way. There's quite a bit of space inside there, and still makes the king pretty big, but it's not super heavy. But yet it's still easy to hold in any way that you want to hold a king, whether it's by this part, by this part, by the top part, however it is that you may want to hold it. And then here we have a couple of different rings. They're very unusual rings, not rings that we're usually used to seeing. And as you guys can see, there's all these burnt markings and stuff, all the way starting from the very top, kind of moving down in a very interesting sort of arrangement. That kind of makes it interesting to look at. It's, as you guys can notice, it's not a polished chess set, but it's still very, very cool looking. At the bottom, you have these burnt marks that go in this like wavy arrangement, as you guys can see. Quite nice felt, actually. Most of the felts that we've seen kind of try to sort of have it on the thinner side, but in this case, the felt here is nice and thick, and it allows for a very nice and dampened effect when you put the piece down. It feels nice and good. I'm actually very happy with them using extra felt, because most of the other chess set I've seen, they try to make it less felt. So same here. Everywhere, every piece here has a nice thick felt bottom, which is really good to see. The dark piece here, as you can see, is about the same shape as the light one. Everything's pretty much the same opposing finial. And then the only thing is the burnt effect here is less visible. Whereas in the burnt Dubrovnik chess set that I've did, their dark piece, the burnt effect would be like inversed, so that you could still have or still be able to see the markings and everything. Where in this case, you can still see the markings. It's just harder to see them, and all the little burns and all the little patterns and everything are still there. It's just that they're not as visible as they are on the light pieces, which kind of goes for same for all the other dark pieces. They all have the little arrangements and markings. It's just they're you can't really see them all that well. Here we have the queens. Once again, we have the alternating arrangements of the very top. The top of the queen looks very cartoony, as you guys can see right over here. It's a very interesting arrangement to the queen. We haven't seen anything like this before, but it kind of, once again, gives this chess set kind of this sort of a magical appearance, or some kind of like a fairy tale type of an appearance, because it doesn't feel serious, and you can still have a serious game with this chess set. And so that's kind of what makes this particular chess set nice, in my opinion. And I'll probably get back to that same conclusion towards the end of the video. But same type of, as you guys can see, same type of arrangement of the sort of wavy pattern of burnt markings on it. There's burn markings on this thing here. There's burn markings on top. And then on the very top here, we have this sort of a space where it kind of goes in, not too deep, but it still goes in, and kind of nice. When comparing that, the queens to the size of the king, there's a little bit of a difference. If it wasn't for the finial, the king would probably be about as tall as the queen. So it's still nice to be able to see that the queen is
pretty big in this particular chess set. And just it sort of takes up just as much space, and it's just as valuable, because in all the other chess sets the queens are always like a lot smaller than the kings, but in this chess set, I don't know whether maybe it's cultural or whatever the reason was for making it about the same size, but there we have it. The bishops are they follow the same arrangement of the burnt patterns as the queen and the king. The cut here is very slight, but the cut is still going about halfway through the top portion of the bishop. And then we have a relatively normal, sort of a normal shape top here, and then the bottom here, it transitions into the base pretty quickly, so we don't get much of this body or this neck, whatever we may call it. Maybe it's because this ring here, if it was pushed up a little bit closer to the top, we could have had a little bit more of this part. But I'm assuming that when you're playing, you're going to be holding the bishop by the top instead of trying to hold it by the bottom. But not much can be said about the bishops other than the fact that this part is kind of too small. But they still look nice, and every piece in this particular chess set looks like it fits well with the other pieces. Everything sort of goes well together. The knights here, we see that they're kind of more or less like the German knights. So they're sort of they screwed, very unrefined type of look to it. We've seen this with the Queen's Gambit, I believe. We've seen it with the Romanian-Hungarian chess set, more or less. We've seen it with the German. We've seen it with the championship chess set. Except the only thing that I feel like is that lower lip here kind of drops down a little bit further than some of those other chess sets. But that's pretty much like the only main distinction. The ears are kind of the same way, pointed upwards. We have this sort of area here. I've kind of gone over the shape of knights like this before. Then we have this sort of a crudely cut mane on the side that does not protrude outwards, and it's not replicated on the back. So, yeah, it's nice. It's a nice knights. They work well with this particular chess set. I don't know whether other knights would have been better. Maybe if they had Dubrovnik knights instead, maybe, not sure. But still pretty large, wide bases, and the pieces are still kind of light. Finally, we have the rooks. Now, the rooks here are actually quite nicely made because, as you guys can see right over here, they actually were made to look more like towers. As you can see, these sort of cuts through makes it look like it's a sort of a brick tower of some sort, and we do see this periodically in some chess sets. I don't think I have any chess sets that are that sort of attempting to replicate an actual tower as we see here, but that's what we have. I better hurry because I'm really losing light here. And the top here, we have the small cuts, not very detailed, and then this part here is not very deep, but it still feels nice. Even though it's relatively light, it feels nice in hand, and it's well balanced. Both the light and the dark rook just feel pretty good in hand. Finally, we have the pawns that you guys can see right over here. The top ball here could have been made slightly bigger, but then again, I guess I'm just being a little bit picky. It's still a nice, easy to pick up pawn, and it still has a nice broad base that makes it very stable, though they are relatively light. And when comparing this pawn to the king, we have, I think, what did they say? 2 pawns put together should be equal approximately to the height of the king. I'm not sure if that's with the finial or without, because that would make a difference. But more or less, they're sort of proportionately sized, I would say. They definitely occupy enough space on these squares to not feel like they're lost. They feel good. They feel good. All these pieces kind of blend in and go really well together. I would say one of the nice things about having a chess set where the pieces are light or relatively light is when these pieces are put together with this actual chess set, it doesn't feel too over cumbersome. It doesn't feel like it's too heavy. If we remember back to the time of Bobby Fischer, Bobby Fischer used to carry around an unweighted 1950s Dubrovnik chess set because he felt like traveling around with a chess set that's unweighted is a little bit easier than to travel with one that had extra weight. And he said that it was balanced well and it worked well for him for all his studies and playing and everything. So kind of same goes for this. I mean, you're not going to be carrying this particular chess set around to many different tournaments, although you could very well carry this chess set. But I feel like this particular chess set's priced about what I would assume that this particular chess set should be priced at. About $60 to $70, maybe somewhere in that range. You get a nice solid chess set, board included with the pieces, and the board sort of keeps the pieces in place. So you don't have to look around, where's my pieces, you don't have to actually care about purchasing an extra storage case for the pieces to keep them safe. Everything's here. So this looks nice. This looks like one of the chess sets that you might take out, or at home somewhere, and a friend comes over and you say, hey, you want to play a quick game or something of chess? He'd say, yeah, sure. And you take this out and you have a really nice game, because it's not intimidating. It's not like you're pulling out a really like high-end lacquered chess set on a very expensive board and you'll be like, okay, let's play seriously. No, it's just this sort of like a chess set that I could see people playing, a friendly game. And yet I feel like it could also be very well used as an analysis board, or anything you really want it to be. This could be your only chess set, honestly, if this is the type of chess set that you've been looking for. Because I know a lot of people really are gravitating towards all these extra details here that I've shown you guys, all the little cuts and the little what looks like handmade outlines and everything. It does look like somebody made it by hand from start to finish. So that's kind of gives it a really nice personal feeling. That's what I'm trying to say. It makes it feel like if it wasn't you that made this chess set, it was probably somebody in Poland that made it. But yeah, I would probably say that yes, although for somebody who's looking for a tournament chess set, or a chess set that's specifically going to be adhering to certain standards, maybe this might not be the one. But for collectors, for example, there's a lot of collectors out there that I know that actually have purchased this particular chess set, even though it doesn't fit the bill of like a collector's chess set. It still is going to be a collector's item at some point, and owning one and taking good care of it, I feel like, is going to basically enrich anybody's chess collection. Well, pretty much that's all I wanted to show you guys today. My light is really going down, so I can see the ISO marks are climbing up and up, so hopefully my video won't be terrible quality. I wanted to mention at the very end that I've been in contact with some great friends of mine that have been recommending to me certain chess manufacturers that are either in Europe or in different parts of the world. And thank God for the internet. Thank God for places like Etsy and other venues where people can actually be working on making chess sets or making chess boards in all different parts of the world. I was just recently recommended to, if I wanted a really nice board, to somebody recommended this Greek person, and it was so interesting because my friend Hank, if you're watching this video, thanks a lot once again for recommending the board. And I went in and I contacted the person. Hank told me, he said, if you want a really nice board, check out this guy. He's Greek. He's a family-owned father and him. And so I was like, okay. So I wrote an email to this place, and I'll shoot you guys a link below so you guys can check him out. I wrote an email, and pretty much within half a day or so, I got a response back, and it was so personal because it was just like, oh yeah, we know Hank. He was like one of our first customers. Yeah, we're like this family-owned thing. It was just me and my dad, and we were making chess sets. But the honest truth is, like, this is so cool because there's so many people out there that that are actually really good at what they do. And they can make you something that's going to really be truly a collector's item someday if you know where to look. So part of the reason now I feel like of me bringing to you guys these ideas and everything is to basically introduce you to some of these people. So hopefully as I come across more and more people that do this sort of stuff, I will show you guys, I will show you the products, I will show you the chess sets, the chess boards, and I will also include the links below so you guys can check them out yourselves.
But yeah, I was so like it was so cool. It was just such a humbling experience because it makes the world that might otherwise feel so distant and disconnected feel so close and personal, and through these sort of conversations and everything, that I thought to myself, wow, thank God for like internet. Thank God for these people are able to make these things, make these boards day in and day out, and you know they'll make the boards for you. You order the board, and they'll say, "Here's Alex. He ordered this particular board, and let's get started." You know, Alex, hang in there for a little while, but we're gonna make a really nice board for you. And that's a really nice experience. It's not like you just go to, you know, McDonald's and place an order, and yeah, your burger's made for you, but at the same time it's like very impersonal. So having said that, I'm actually super excited because I did order a board recently from this individual, and I will be reviewing the board here shortly when it arrives, probably within a month. So until then, everybody, hopefully stay safe, stay productive, and I'll see you guys in the next video, okay?